Okay, let's continue with the discussion on the undiagnosed mental illness amongst black males. It is my position that this is at the root of the violence and the high number of single parent homes, the confusion, the addiction, the abuses, and everything else that's going on with black males. It's due to some serious, and I am not being facetious here, some very serious mental illness problems. Now, in this series, this is the third of the series. I'm exploring how what's called cluster B personality disorders are manifested amongst African American men. Now, these disorders will directly impact how you can relate to them, how they will relate to anybody really, but especially their children and their women, because these behavior patterns are grouped together because psychiatrists determined that they impact three key areas: the male's ability to love, his impulse control, and his moral reasoning. Now, of course, those are big umbrellas, but when you consider the impact that those three things have on the happiness, longevity, and safety of women and children in black communities across the country, you can see how very important this is. These cluster B personality disorders, I'm telling you, it's just a ridiculous number. I'm going to say at least 75% of black males suffer from some degree of these disorders. You know, there's a spectrum, of course. Some are light, and some are just so knee deep up in it they got all four of the afflictions. So I've already talked about the antisocial personality disorder. I've talked about the narcissistic personality disorder. Those are two of the components of the cluster B personality disorders. This one is the third, and so let me get into this. Let me get into to what this means. Okay, now I want to start off with what a German psychiatrist, Christian, I'm not sure how you pronounce dude's last name, but I do have it up there so you can see it. Maybe you can figure it out. Anyway, he defined cluster B disorders as disturbances of personality that go hand in hand with emotional dysregulation phenomena, a tendency towards aggressive impulse loss of control, egotistic exploitation of interpersonal relationships, and a tendency to overestimate one's own importance. Now, I'm sure you ladies can all think of examples where we have discussed those types of behaviors and how they've impacted relationships. You've probably experienced it on your own. But what I'm going to do here later is I'm going to outline the 9 components that are associated with histrionic personality disorder, and I'm going to give you specific examples of the way thousands of black men behave under each of those categories. I'm not making this stuff up. I have proof. Because you know me, I'm not going to make a statement unless I got some shit to back it up. So when we talk about histrionic personality disorder, God, that is like really a tongue twister. When we talk about histrionic personality disorder, what kind of things, behavior traits are associated with that? Well, they're highly emotional. They're narcissistic. They have a complete lack of accountability and little self-control. Okay, so those are cluster B things. And when you start talking specifically about the histrionics, then you see the highly emotional. They have a lot of emotional outbursts, displays of temper. They're compulsive attention seekers and extremely self-centered. So basically, what you're dealing with is a drama king. I don't know how else to sum it up. But, they just be doing the most. It's like everything is a big deal. They just stomping around and yelling, and it's always like it's always like they're mad or upset about something. It's just ridiculous. And they're extremely defensive too. But I'll go into all that. I'm kind of skipping around here. I'm trying to stay on track, and of course, I'm not doing it. So when we talk about these histrionics, they tend to overreact. Okay, they overreact to stuff that normal people would think, I mean, it might be a little upsetting or raise a question, but these types flip the fuck out about everything. Um, they have like exaggerated behaviors and emotions and reactions. I mean, everything is like 10 times to what you might consider to be a normal response range. They make loud and inappropriate comments. The most of that is because their key need is for attention and recognition, validation. They crave stimulation, so they're always off doing something or getting themselves into some shit. Why? Because they have a high need for attention, and very often they play an excessive amount of attention to their appearance. I'll go into that, and so that's somewhat of the narcissist coming out in them in that part. And they will often assume that they have a greater level of intimacy or familiarity with someone than they actually do. Those are the people who assume, say everybody's their friend, or who be trying to talk to you in overly familiar ways, asking you personal questions, and just doing too much, considering the fact that they don't even fucking know you. And you know what I'm talking about, ladies. Now, when we look at these cluster B people, in romantic relationships, because that's what I focus on here, so that's what I want to really talk about. When psychiatrists are talking about these syndromes, they're not just really focusing on interpersonal relationships. They're talking about this person's entire personality and existence with everyone. But I have to narrow this down because I don't want to talk about their work relationships and their relationship with their mama and their relationship with their siblings and all that old stuff. I mean, that's like outside the scope of what I do here. So I'm going to focus strictly on the romantic relationships that they have with you and how their behaviors as sufferers of these personality disorders will impact you. Because, honey, they are some controlling and abusive and manipulative people, and they'll fuck up not only the relationship, but your money, your property, your reputation, your mind, and your self-esteem. So, that's why I think it's so important to educate you about these particular guys. Histrionics feel sad when they aren't the center of attention. They feel neglected. You might even see them over in the corner pouting, or if it's a group setting, they're going to get quiet and stuff until everybody starts asking, what's wrong? What's wrong? See, just another way to get attention. So let's talk about the details of this. Now, even though I came up with 9 traits, I think the DSM lists 8, but in thinking about the behaviors that I've seen, I added another one. Now, reportedly rather, according to the DSM, they say the histrionic personality disorder affects about 3% of the general population. And, keeping in mind that these books were written by white folks, they're going to declare that it was mainly women who have it. I disagree. I think that it's only because they haven't studied enough black people to make these statistics that they tout so greatly to be valid. How many black men have they really studied? And I think if they spent the time doing that, they would see, well, it might be white women, but it's certainly black men too, right up there neck and neck. And I think it's way more than 3%. Because as I go through these, you will notice how common these behavior patterns are. They are not something that you have to really go search for like you would for a behavior pattern that's a 3%. That number is far, far, far too low. Okay, so I'm going to state them. I'm going to give you examples of black male behavior that fits those traits. And like I said, I think they're found all found very frequently. You also should understand too, I've said this in the other 2 videos, but I have to repeat it. Each one of these personality disorders within the cluster B segment are found in varying degrees amongst all of these people. That means you won't find somebody with just one. You won't find somebody that's just histrionic or just antisocial or just whatever the ones are. You're gonna find them. They're gonna cross over into at least two others, and usually all four. You will see some element of all four of the disorders in cluster B in each person, and they're basically psychopaths. That's what they are. But let's move on. Let's talk about this. Okay, love. Point number one. They constantly seek attention, reassurance, and approval. They got to be the fucking center of attention no matter what. Don't we see that all the time? Here's a group of women talking about something that doesn't even affect men, don't have shit to do with them. Here they come, trying to divert the conversation over to something that they want to talk about. Asking stupid ass questions. Why? To get the women's attention off of what they were talking about and to him to answering his question. And then they'll come up and say, make some stupid ass comment to try to insult people, whatever, to divert women's attention from discussing what they were talking about to cussing him out. Because if you want attention, any attention is good attention. It doesn't have to be because you did something good and worthwhile. It could be because you did something ignorant. But they feel like any attention is good attention. So these are also the dudes that you see that they demand that you smile at them. They get all in their feelings if you won't talk to them. These are the ones who have poor impulse control, and they want to cuss you out, call you names, throw shit at you because they're mad that you didn't acknowledge them and didn't pay attention to them, and their feelings are hurt. These are the ones that want to say hi to you even though they never saw you before. You walking on the street. And here they are all up in your face trying to strike up a conversation and getting upset when you don't respond, and then want to make videos on YouTube talking about, well, the least you could do is this, and they deserve this and that, blah blah blah. But it's all about getting your attention. When you'll notice that, like you on the street, right, or walking down the street on public transportation or whatever, they're gonna be the loudest one. They're gonna be laughing and talking, just being the loudest, doing the most. Why? To get attention. They want to sag and they want to dress in loud colors, or they want to have labels, associated with price, high prices and popularity. Why? To get attention. They want to touch women inappropriately. Like you trying to walk by, right? You minding your business. Here they are. They're going to put their hand on your waist or touch your arm or touch your elbow or something to get your attention. It's like, nigga, I'm doing where I'm going. I'm trying to do what I'm doing. I'm really not trying to look at you. Leave me alone. But, they want their attention and get mad if you don't give it to them. They'll honk at women going down the street. Why? To get your attention. They just be doing the most talking, the loudest. And then if you notice, they be looking around, right? They be, like, ha, ha, ha. And then they be looking, right? Eyes looking or heads turning slowly because they want to look and see who's watching them, who's paying attention to them. And a lot of them will, they will lean up against something and they doing what we used to call back in my day, posing and profiling. I don't know what they call it now, but when I was young, back in the Stone Age, that's what we called it, posing and profiling. Now, if you're in a relationship with them, you're going to really catch hell because these are ones that feel like you're a reflection of them, right? So everywhere you go, they have to give you approval for how you dress. At home, they're going to demand to get their plate fixed and to get their plate fixed first and to be submitted to and to have their every whim met with a smile. Everything is all around them getting attention and reassurance that they're still running things. These are the kind that also love those posts by black women. Them old mammy types that be sitting up there talking about all black men are kings and, I want to submit to my king. I can't wait until I meet my king. I'm going to do this for him. I'm going to do that for him. I'll never say no to him. They have all these fucked up fantasies about marriage. And, but them dudes, man, they eat that shit up because they love that feeling that they would have some woman like be in their fan club all by herself, and so they eat that shit up, and of course they're hungry for more. And but what they don't realize though is for a woman who's slick, if she peeps you being that way, she's gonna have, man, she gonna be yanking your ass around like a yo-yo. There won't be shit you can do about it because you're too fucking needy. And These are also the kind that you see, and the older dudes tend to do this. Well, I don't know if some of the young ones too, but when I was younger, the older ones were the ones that always did it. They want to get in public and, start talking about what they own or where they travel, or, pulling out credit cards, flashing cash, and, all that kind of stuff because they trying to get the attention of, all the women with their material possessions. And these are also the types of dudes that you see on Facebook flashing wads of cash. Why? To get attention. They want approval. They want validation. Okay, so all that's point one. As you see, that's a big one. It covers a lot of ground. Number two, excessively sexually suggestive, emotional, dramatic, sexually provocative. Oh, again, with the goal of getting attention focused on them, these are the dudes that walk up to you and say some really stupid ass, inappropriately sexual things. Um, oh, they do this shit all the time. Especially if it's a group of them, right? A group of knuckleheads together. They want to appear to be the macho, player, the one who can get all the women, the one who got all the most game and everything in front of his friends. So he's going to try to touch you without your permission, or they sit up there and they grab at their dicks all the time. And it's all designed to get your attention. They may also be the Don Juan types, they just go from woman to woman, flirting, sexing, and then bouncing once the newness wears off, once the excitement of the new pussy is gone. And women don't understand that. They think, well, we were in love, we had this relationship, and how could he just leave me like that? How could he just act like it didn't mean anything? Because it didn't. He was only there for the attention and the excitement. He was there for how you made him feel. He was not there to love you. And that's where y'all get confused. That's why I be telling women, stop doing so much for men. See what they do for you. You do too much. You just want to run around being this fucking servant. And that's how you get into situations like this, because you are carrying a load all by yourself of a relationship, all on your back, all by yourself. And he just there, getting all the glory and applause and stuff that you give him. These guys also love conquest. Oh my God, they just love to, that part of the chase, the getting the woman. That's the part they love, because she's, it's that he's on his best doing his little sexy, flashy thing, his drama, telling these fanciful stories and everything to keep her attention focused on him. And but as soon as he, gets the goods, he's off to the next one because he needs a new dose. It's like a drug for him. And once you're in a relationship, that all that stuff slows down. You just want to settle into dealing with each other on a comfortable level. He's not down for that. They don't work well like that. You also got to understand there's the other kind. Okay, there's the Don Juans that, do the pump and dump thing. But there's also those that are very sexually withholding. And that's an interesting thing when you see that too. Because they'll promise, like they'll talk all kind of mad, sexy shit, get you all worked up, and you thinking, oh my God, this is just going to be some fabulousness happening over here. And then he won't show up. And he does that on purpose. Why? Because see, now you're going to be like thinking about him, right? Wonder what happened, why he didn't come. Calling him, texting him, trying to convince him that he still needs to come because he got you all juiced up. And you don't understand it. But again, that's just for more attention. So now he could do that same thing to 5 or 10 women, over a couple of day period, and have all the women calling him, going crazy, trying to get his attention, trying to get him to come over. That's just a straight setup. So y'all better watch for that shit. Number 3, he speaks dramatically with strong opinions, but has few facts or details to back them up. Basically, his conversation sounds good, it sounds impressive, but the main reason he's even talking is because he just wants you to interact with him. He's looking for feedback and attention from you, and not to make sense. So that's why you see a lot of these videos, I dissect them, right? And these guys are on camera, and some of them have even admitted how good YouTube is for their ego, because they have all these people paying attention to them, all these people watching their video, all these people commenting. Even if the people are cussing them out, they're still paying them attention, and they just love it. They can't get enough of it. So they be talking, not saying shit that's even worth hearing most of the time. But they have like these little fan clubs of loser dudes, as crazy women that follow them and listen to their nonsense. So they feel really good. They talking loud and they using their hands a lot and banging on tables or walls or shit. A lot of them will regurgitate nonsense that he quote heard. You know how they say, well, I heard this man. I heard. Okay, but where did you hear it? Who told you that? What book did you read it from? What website of scientific research did you find that on? They can never tell you because it's just some bullshit. They just talking. They just want to get attention by having people listening to them. They're not saying anything, but they deliver the message in such a theatrical way that it makes people, it's kind of entertaining, you know what I mean? So again, they're getting your attention. They're not saying shit of value. Even if they say the same thing 50 times, you can't pin them down. Nothing makes sense, and their words are nothing but words written on air. Umar Johnson comes to mind as a perfect example of this kind of individual. Speaking dramatic, sounds good, but nigga ain't can't bust the grape. Ain't busted the grape, done got everybody's money, and y'all ain't seen or heard nothing about that school ever since. And I just be laughing because I told you, I warned you, but you didn't want to hear it. Now, these are also the guys, you look at their videos or you talk to them, these are guys who say that a woman who won't kiss or screw on the first date is using sex as a weapon, or she wants to control the pace of sexual interaction. It's no thought that maybe she just don't feel safe or comfortable with you. Maybe she don't even like your ass, but you going to insist on, getting all up in her body. These types love to talk about ancient Egypt and what happened in Africa centuries ago, though they've never even read a book on the topic, and everything that they claim they know they heard down at the barbershop or from some fools on YouTube. And a lot of them will be like, you know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You right. Okay, a bunch of words, but what does that really mean? It doesn't mean shit. But again, it gets the people who are listening attention focused on him. Y'all got to watch that. Number 4, very easily influenced by others. Very suggestible, easily manipulated, and just weak-minded, basically. These are the types that frequently get caught up in what somebody told me, right? They don't do no kind of fact-checking. They're also the type that heavily depend on validation from group members, from the pack. They have a pack mentality. These are the guys who, their parents will raise them up really cool and thinking that their son has some sense. But he'll get around, he get in his pack, and suddenly he get caught up in some criminal acts with these buddies, or riding around in a stolen car, joyriding, gang rapes, robberies, home invasions, using drugs, selling drugs. I mean, all kind of stuff. These dudes get, they get goaded into it by their friends. And these are the kind of, when they get caught, people are always shocked that they did something stupid, because they're like, well, he wasn't raised like that. We would have never expected him to do anything like that. He was always such a nice kid, blah, blah, blah. But these are just idiots. I mean, they're the type that think getting involved in gangs is a good thing. And there's somebody to listen to, and somebody that's, to feel like a part of something. And they also the kind of think that going to prison is a sign of manhood. So they're really easily dared into doing something stupid or some violent shit, because it's important for them not to be thought of as a simp or a wimp or a pussy or anything like that. And if you notice, when they're in groups, like with like friends and stuff, they will tend to dress alike. Even the older dudes, like, they'll all have on like their golf shirts and Dockers, or they'll all have on their nice suits, or all of the boys in the group are sagging. Are they all wearing them super baggy jeans and boots? And I mean, they all tend to look and dress alike. Have you ever noticed that? And it's like they all want to just fit in and to be seen as one of the boys, because that kind of validation and that kind of influence from someone else is very important to them. They cannot for the life of them break free from that. Okay, then here's another one that really impacts your relationships. Number 5, shallow, rapidly changing emotions. Now, when I get letters, certain letters into my advice column, I already know they dealing with a histrionic. because these are the type where the women will be like, well, we had he went, why did he have a good woman and then he cheated? Or how could he break up with me and marry someone else 2 months later? Or why did he lie to me and hurt me like that and it don't seem like he even cares? What kind of man leaves his woman and winning child when she tells him she's pregnant? Or how could he say he loves me but do me like this? Or we were fine one day and the next day he left and I haven't heard from him since. Those are the histrionics. Okay, the drama kings. I'm telling you, their emotions flip like a light switch. It's the most unbelievable thing. So you thinking you got somebody that all dependable on, you can depend on and all that stuff, but they're so fickle, they're so emotionally needy that it's like having a baby, But these are the kind that will leave, right? They leave the kids and never contact them while they blame you for, quote, making them do it. Or you won't let me see my kids. They have those kind of things. They're always going to make their emotional state be somebody else's responsibility. They love you one day, but as soon as you aren't submissive enough, or you criticize them, or you tell them no, then they move on because, see, you're not giving them that validation and that attention that they're seeking. Are you understanding where I'm going with this? I'm trying to give you guys like 900, maybe it's too much information, I don't know. I'm trying to give you examples of how these behaviors play out in the relationships, real life examples, so that you can understand when you see this happening or you hear him say things like this, you will understand what kind of dude you're dealing with. A fucking crackpot nut. That's what he is. So, these dudes, I mean, they have no remorse. They have no concern about you when they go. And they'll go from happy to flipping the fuck out in seconds. And it will have no logical rhyme or reason to it. I can tell you a story about this dude I went out with one time. Well, no, we had been going out, I don't know, maybe a month. And so we went to this club and we had dinner. We went to this club and stuff. And this is when I was in Houston. So we're driving back and we had driven in my car because I had a new car then, and we was trying to high side or whatever. So we driving back and we going to his house, right? And for some unknown reason, he like got this weird attitude, and then tried to grab the steering wheel from me, and almost made me crash my brand new car into the side. It had like those pillars where you could park underneath the apartment building. It was like that, and it almost made me, crash my car into one of those pillars. Luckily, I'm strong. I was working out at Gold's Gym at the time, so I grabbed that steering wheel and wrestled that shit right back. Then I stopped the car and tossed his ass out my fucking car. It's like, get the fuck out. What the hell is your problem? Now, see, I don't know where that came from. Jealousy? Who knows? Because nobody was paying attention to him. They was paying attention to me because I'm cuter and I had a new car. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. But it didn't even matter, honey, because that was it. That was the last time I saw that clown. It's like, you not fucking up my shit because you want some attention that people aren't giving you. So, you got to look at these dudes. They're like real high strung. They're very demanding and they're very volatile. I mean, just the slightest little thing will just send them to the moon. But, they do everything that they do because they're trying to get attention from as many people as possible. Okay, number 6. Excessive concern with their physical appearance. I'm telling you, you get a dude who primps it up in the mirror more than most women, you got a problem. These are the dudes, they want to have shoes and their hat and their jersey and all this shit got to match. They like to be noticed. His bling got to be right. His hairline got to be right. They spend hours at the gym, and a lot of them will not only spend hours at the gym. I'd be peeping them in, when I used to go, and just started back. So for those who are curious, they would be at the gym, honey. They wear them little shirts like that's barely a shirt, right? It's got like the thin little straps that cover their nipples, so all they, shoulders and all their chest and back muscles and stuff be on display. And then they wear these little biker shorts, right? So they wear them because it's so tight, it be showing they print. So, they be like, all the ladies be, sneaking looks and stuff, and they be sitting in the mirror flexing and, doing the most and, posing while they rest and stuff to make sure everybody's looking at them. I'm like, this nigga, sit your ass down somewhere. And, but that's what they do. Even the ones that's, not in good shape. I mean, they might have a gut or whatever, a couple of chins, them hot dog rolls on the back of his neck. You see them, they be clean, they be smelling good, their little beard be all trimmed up. They got their jewelry on. They really try to dress to impress. And they'll have a really nice ride usually. But what kills me though is some of these dudes get mani pedis. I no. And these, you'll see them, right, and they're looking like they're just kind of standing around, but their posing is very deliberate, as I mentioned before. They're trying to do things so that you catch them at the right angle, the right profile, and the right light, so you can see the muscles that he wants you to see, and see how tall he is or how buff he is or whatever. And nothing about them is accidental. Everything is very deliberate, and it's all designed to get attention and emotions in others. They're always on fucking stage, always being the center of their own drama. Number 7, this is a big one for relationships. They make rash decisions and then blame their failures or disappointments on other people. How many times do we talk about this, ladies? How many times do we talk about this? Constantly. For example, they decide to do or say something stupid and retarded, like, pull off a condom, right? Or beg for raw sex. Then, when the woman is pregnant, he going to get mad and say, well, she knew I wasn't ready to be a father, right? But wait a minute. Didn't you just do everything to make yourself be one? But now you want to blame her? Or they drop out of school, right? And then when they can't get a decent paying job, they get angry at their woman because she's earning more than he is. He sees that, well, you shouldn't be making more than me because I'm supposed to be, the lead. I'm supposed to be the head of the household. Nigga, you should have stayed in school. I mean, you did that. Or they drive stupid and they get in an accident, right? Then they want to blame the car manufacturer for some kind of imaginary defect, or the other driver for not avoiding his car. Or they might not study for tests or midterms or finals, and then they blame the professor when they fail. Or they have come to work, or they, come to work late all the damn time. And then they want to shoot up the place when they get fired. Or they cheat on their woman and they get somebody else pregnant, but then they want to kill the woman when she leaves them and tells the world that women don't know how to be wives anymore. You see how that goes? This is the kind of shit that we see all the time. This is the kind of shit that we hear all the time. Our, relatives are like this. The men online are like this. Co-workers are like this. It's like everywhere you fucking go. So I don't know why people try to act like, this stuff, this 3% that white folks was talking about, that shit is, they're wrong. Maybe, like I said, it might be 3% of white women, but it ain't 3% of black men for sure. Number 8, super sensitive to criticism or disapproval. Now, notice how this happens so much online. You're talking about something, you don't know this man, you ain't met this man, you don't know this man's name, nothing. But here he comes. What? Women do it too. Or not all men. They get real emotional, just get real defensive, just be all up in their feelings, like you talking about him personally. And, they look at it like a personal attack on them, even though, like I said, you don't know them and haven't mentioned their name. And they're like, huh? I'm talking about a behavior. If you don't behave that way, then why are you complaining? What? But, other races of men do it too, not just black men. Or you just hate black men. They get like that instead of talking about the issue that is at hand. The thing that's hurting women, that's destroying black communities, that's ruining the lives of children. That's what we're talking about. But all you can do is come on and because you're defensive and all in your feelings, and try to change the focus of the conversation away from the issue to not talking about black men. See, no. Then they want to get on and feel they want to talk about you, call women names, talk about your age, your weight, your height. I mean, anything that they can hurt, your marital status, those are all common ones. Anything they feel like they can try to hurl at you to make you hurt, to feel hurt, like his feelings are hurt because of this, random thing that was on social media. And I'm just like, wow, really? Now, if you're in a personal relationship with a dude like this, and you are critical of his behavior, be aware of the fact that he will try to use that as justification to cheat or leave because, quote, you're too hard on me and all you do is complain. So, what women knowing that, right, you want to keep the relationship, what a lot of women will do is just start walking on eggshells and just swallow all their disappointment and pain and hurts and not say anything when he does things that hurt their feelings or, disappoint them. And so the relationship gets worse and worse because the women are afraid to rock the boat, due to the fact that they know that this guy is, will leave because his little ego got bruised. And my final one, these are the dudes that believe that relationships with other people are closer than they really are. Now, that might not seem like a big deal, but it is if you are being stalked. And this is the core belief behind stalking, which men do at a rate of like 50 or more to 1 over women. That sense of ownership, that need to control and dominate, is a thing that men just they apply it even to a situation where a woman doesn't want to be with them. And on a lighter note, they'll refer to people they barely know as, that's one of my boys, oh, that's my friend, that's my buddy, something like that. It's like you barely know that motherfucker. What you talking about? And as for women, you may barely know the guy or maybe not even met him at all, but he's, seeing you. But in his mind, you two are fated lovers, or if you break up with him, because you see it's not going to work. You date him for a minute, but you see it's not going to work, so you want to move on. But again, he's up there thinking that, this was meant to be, and he's going to insist that you stay and try to work it out and be with him and all this stuff. At first, he might ask nicely, bug the fuck out of you calling, showing up at your job and bringing flowers and all that stuff. But, a lot of these guys, it advances to abductions and physical assaults and even murder because they have such poor impulse control. It's all part of their mental illness. He's seeing love, whereas you seeing a pest, and his feelings are hurt because you're not paying attention to him, and he wants to make you pay attention to him. So there you go. So that's my commentary on the histrionic personality disorder. This all comes from the American Psychiatric Association's DSM-5. That's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the 5th edition. That's why it's called 5, published in May 2013, if you want to check that out. This is Deb Cooper from survivingdating.com. I'll be back in a day or two with some more great information for you to help you make smarter choices in your search for love. Bye-bye. Now that you've seen some of the grade A content that's offered on the Debsterism channel by advice columnist and author Deborah Cooper, please become a subscriber. Just click the subscribe button below, then click the little bell symbol that you'll see. By doing that, you'll be sent notifications directly to your cell phone right after new content is uploaded, so you can be one of the very first people to see the new videos and to comment on them. So please like, please subscribe, please comment, and please share a link and tell a friend. If you can do all those things, I'll love you.